look, tell me a little bit about you. I mean, where are you from? I mean, you're kind of new to Rocky Mount, but you've been here for a while and you've had a
Yes.
great career. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm from Ahoskie, North
Right.
Carolina.
Okay.
Moved to Rocky Mount about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Quickly got involved in the community here,
Mm-hmm.
working at First Carolina Bank right
Mm-hmm.
down on Winstead Avenue,
Right.
and absolutely love Rocky Mount. I could not be a bigger advocate of this place and everything that our city does for each other and its communities and the people that we serve.
Well, you didn't know this, but I went to preschool in Ahoskie.
No kidding.
My father was the buying agent for the Belt Group in that part of the state. And so we lived in Ahoskie for a brief moment in time. All I remember is Miss Fanny and Miss Grimes.
Oh
And
my goodness.
they were my preschool teachers. And then we came back to Rocky Mount.
Well, I'm from there. All my family is still there. So we
Sure.
go there every other weekend.
There you go. Well, tell me about the bank. I mean, look, you came here. The bank was really basically a startup. I mean, we bought some assets that were in default from another bank, and really kind of were able to massage it, provide a little capitalization to it. And I'm working off memory. You'll know this better than me, but I believe that initial acquisition might have been $500,000. The branch sizes, maybe 100 million in assets. Is that about right?
You're very close. So our first capital raise was
Right.
13 million with
Right.
local shareholders, and then we bought a 2-branch bank, one in Rocky Mount, one in Reedsville,
Right.
and it had about 75 million in
So,
assets.
so I wasn't far off.
You are not far off
Okay.
at all.
Okay. So, so since that time though, that was what? That's been
2012.
2012. That doesn't
Mhm.
feel that long ago.
Yeah, we
but
just had our 10-year anniversary last July.
wow.
Time
I've
flies.
aged a decade then, I guess. So, and you came to town to work for this bank, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I actually started at this bank before that at First Carolina State Bank,
Right.
the predecessor bank, for
Right.
a little while.
Yeah. So tell me about the name change. That's a little aside here, but I've, noticed that and I just never picked up on why. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we moved from a state bank to a federal bank. Is that the
No,
difference?
no. So First Carolina State Bank was
Right.
owned by Capital Bancorp out of Lansing, Michigan.
That's right. And that's where the assets were acquired from.
That's right. And then First Carolina Bank came in with a group of local shareholders
Okay.
from Rocky Mount and
Sure.
bought First Carolina
Got it.
State Bank, cut that state out, just shortened the name and called
Right.
it First Carolina Bank.
So in that 11-year period of time since we bought the bank, we've gone from 75 million in assets under management to
2.2 billion.
2.2 billion.
Yes.
That's amazing. And most of that has been greenfield development and a few acquisitions here and there, but mostly just
Totally organic. So
Yeah.
we've had no acquisitions at all. It's
Right.
completely organic. We've grown really by just picking the right leaders and market executives, lenders, and then just growing from there. So we've grown from Rocky Mount and Reedsville first,
Right.
Raleigh, Wilmington, Virginia Beach, Cary, North Carolina,
Right.
and then we opened up Columbia, South
I
Carolina,
just saw that.
yep, and Atlanta, Georgia last year,
Okay.
and Greenville, South Carolina about 3 weeks ago.
Great. Well, that's
Yes.
outstanding. So 2.2
Yes.
billion in assets. So, that's in a 10-year period of time. As you've been the chief operating officer, right? Is that
Not
what's
the whole 10 years, but I
Okay.
am the chief
Well, we're going to
operating
give you
officer
credit
now.
for it now that you are now, right? In
Okay,
the rearview
thank
mirror,
you.
why not?
Yes. I started as a teller CSR and a branch
Right.
supervisor,
Right.
but I've been the COO for the last 4 years.
So congratulations on that. Congratulations on the
Thank you.
growth. And it's wonderful to have that in Rocky Mount. Folks don't really appreciate the impact that banks are for being good corporate neighbors and citizens.
Yes.
And it really is impactful.
Yes, well, we have a great team, and we're headquartered here in Rocky
Right.
Mount, and we're continuing to grow. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
seen that we're building a new building.
I see the little compound. Yeah, you're just building like little
Just
Legos next to
taking
each other.
over,
right?
yeah. The new building is actually going to connect into our newest building that we built 2 years ago that we're totally out of space now.
Right.
So we're continuing to grow, and our operations center is here, loan and deposit operations.
Okay.
So all of those employees are here in Rocky Mount.
That is outstanding. So thank you for
Yes.
doing that. Thank you
Of
for continuing to
course.
invest in Rocky Mount, because
course.
it's a big deal and it helps us all. So in that same vein, one of the things that you have been instrumental in, and I'm proud to say I know you, I'm proud to be part of that journey in just a little small bit is,
In a big way.
thank you, but you've done all the yeoman's work, is tackled the tar. And so tell us the genesis story on that, because it's interesting to me. I don't know that everybody knows it.
Well, so the genesis story of it is quite fascinating. Me and my family used to go out to Huntersville, North Carolina,
Okay.
outside of Charlotte.
Out by the lake.
Yep, every year, spend a couple of days and do one of the races that they had out there called the Warrior Dash. None of us are fitness people at all. If we were being chased, it's because we're about to get killed.
Right.
But we like to go play on the obstacles, get muddy, and just be a part of the fun. And so we did that every single year. And again, spent 2 nights out there and just made it a whole family fun event. But there were none east of Raleigh. And so when we started talking about in Rotary, what is our signature project going to be? I threw out a couple of crazy ideas. We did not go with them. And then finally,
what were the ideas? So give me some of what does that spitballing session look like? And by the way, I've been to Ohio State. You had plenty of swamps down there. You didn't need to go all the way to Huntersville to play some mud.
I know. Well, we'd play in the four-wheelers a lot, but it was fun. It was fun. At this point, it's been 8 years ago now. I don't exactly know what the ones I threw out. They were crazy ideas, but I don't think they were anywhere near as crazy as Tackle the Tar.
Right.
So finally, I got down to kind of my Hail Mary and was like, all right, this is my last idea, guys. This is what I've got. And I explained, what me and my family did and how fun the event was and how it draws people from really all over the state. And I didn't realize at that time that it was out-of-state people too. And so I told them about the event and kind of what it all looked like. And we went around the board table, and I remember it was just, no, we can't do that.
Right.
I don't think Rocky Mount needs this sort of thing. We can't run it. And then I remember getting to Gary Hodges, and Gary was like, we can do this. He said, Kristen really wants to do it. She's got the vision. Let's back her all the way. And he changed everyone in that room's mind. They didn't know me at all, but Gary did.
Sure.
And so since then, we formed a committee. We started in 2015, had our first event in 2016. And then since then, we've given over $400,000 to Nash Community College, Edgecombe Community College, and Wesleyan.
Stealing the daggone punchline. Well, we hadn't built up to that yet. It's okay. I was trying to build up to that. Yeah, I know. Well, you should. Well, let's just talk about that first event. So how many people came?
There's about 320 runners. It takes about 200 volunteers. So there was about 500 of us out there on the day of the event. Yep.
And so it's a 2-3 day event.
It was. So we started as a 3-day event, and then we that was a little bit much. So now we're a 2-day event. We do Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Yep.
So that many volunteers, and so that was 2015. You had to skip during the COVID period.
We did.
And you're doing it again this year, or
we are.
Well, the community's doing it again, but it's your genesis, it's your child. So how many people are you expecting?
I'm expecting about 800 runners and at least another 200 volunteers. And then the spectators that come out on Friday is the family fun and fitness night.
Right.
So we're expecting anywhere between 500 and 1,000 families to come out and participate in that, which is a totally free event. And then Saturday is the paid race, but the spectators are totally free.
Right.
So we have a kids run that's at 8:45, and that's ages 8 to 13. So when they come out and play in the mud, they bring their whole family. Their parents come, their siblings who are probably a little too young to go, come and watch them and are jealous. Their grandparents come, and the kids come running out of the mud and just hug their grandparents, and it's the most funniest thing to watch every year. So we'll probably have another 200 to 300 spectators at the event. So it'll be well over 1,000 people on event day.
So let's talk about that just from an economic impact standpoint. I mean, that's 800 runners. Let's just assume they're all related, or there's a couple, right? So there's 500. So that's a potential for 500 bed nights in Rocky Mount. So the impact of that economically, locally, is a lot more even than the scholarship dollars that you've been able to generate and contribute to folks. And I don't think that's fully appreciated. So where are these runners going to come from?
Everywhere.
Right, I know.
So 5 states is what historically it has been.
Well, who are the states? Where are the states? Virginia, I assume. South Carolina.
Yep, all your normals. And then we have Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and then Florida. I don't know what it is, but there's a handful of people who come up from Florida every year to do this race.
I'm actually more shocked about Tennessee. I mean, because North Carolina's a long state, and so is Tennessee. So I don't know where they are in the state, but that's a long way.
Well, as we say around here, we're the center of it all. So I am going to assume that some people have family near this area, and they're coming and they're doing this as a family or just visiting and turning it into a whole thing. So we love that people come from all over, but then they're also all over North Carolina. So Eastern North Carolina definitely comes this way, but we have a lot of people from the mountains who drive in this way as well.
Well, that's a good 3, 4, or 5 hours away.
Yes.
I had a place in the mountains for quite a number of years, and It was a good solid 5-hour drive. Yeah, and that was one of the quicker places. That's around Boone, right?
Yes. Yep.
Well, so have you done the economic analysis impact study on this? I mean, has the Board of Tourism done that for the Tackle the Tar?
We put together our tourism grant every
Okay.
year, and so we give them what we anticipate
Right.
the analysis to be. But no, there's not been one physically done
Right.
on the thing before. However, this year we are working with Barbara Green at Travel and Tourism to better track our hotel nights, at least for this event.
Because I really would like to see that, because I think that is a huge impact in the area. I don't think we're really qualifying it and quantifying it at the level that we should. And that's not talking about meals
Yeah. Oh, yes.
and all of that, right?
Well, them runners eat a lot.
Well, I eat a lot and I don't run. So.
Well, and I know a lot of our runners too stay at the Rocky Mount Mills. They come in and really want that experience, and then they can walk over to the event itself, or some of them come in the day before and walk the course or what they think the course is, because we don't publish that, but they've been to that and they've been to the event in the past, so they'll come and just walk it the day before, run it the day before, and get prepared. So they spend a day or two here when they come.
So some serious folks really trying to win this thing. It's not just a fun run.
Yes. Well, it is. Okay. It is just a fun run too.
Yes,
so I don't want to scare anybody away.
You can whatever you're looking for, right? If you want to be competitive, you can. If you want to just have fun with it, that's open for you as well.
Well, the first two heats at 9 and 9:10, they're the competitive runs for the crazy folks.
Okay.
More power to them, and I appreciate
That's
that they're coming to do it. But the rest of them are fun runs.
Good.
Families are out there walking. One year we had a 4-generation group that came out and did it together. The great granddad, I guess, he walked the entire thing, but he did it from start to finish. The mud, he did most of the obstacles. There were a couple that he did skip, but 4 generations of boys out there doing it together.
How fun!
Yes,
really,
it was really cool.
So we've got this all going on. It's had a 3-fold increase, and really, this is the 4th running or 5th running.
This is the 6th year.
Running. So I'm close, but I'm not actually nailing the numbers. I probably should have done some real research.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I felt like you'd be here. You're the subject matter expert on it.
Happy to help.
There you go. Thank you. So 3-fold increase over a 6-year period of time, but with a 2-year hiatus in there.
That's correct.
So, that delays a little momentum. A lot of things stopped during COVID, but seeing it really on the bounce back. So what's the future of the Tar River Tackle? So, I mean, this is your baby.
Yes.
But I think most people, if they don't know, need to know that you now are the proud mother of one baby and another one on the way.
Yes. Yeah. So we're hoping to keep Tackle the Tar going.
Right.
So we're always looking for volunteers, not just on event day, but we do have committees that are working all year long. Basically, we close an event in May and we start back up in June and July. We do take June off, but we really get going back in July. But it takes a year to plan this event because it is so big.
Well, you're talking about 300-400 volunteers. I mean, what do you need to run the race? Let's break that down. I mean, volunteers.
We need 200 on event day to just Saturday to run the race, and then we need about another 50 that Friday night.
So 250 is sort of a de minimis number, and you'll take all you can get.
We'll take all we can get.
That's right. There's no such thing as too many. You're not turning anybody away.
That's right.
And so then the money to kind of set it up, to fund this, what's sort of that number?
Our goal is to raise $100,000 every year. We'd like to raise more.
But it's going to cost you X just to hold the event, whether anybody shows up or not. What's kind of that number?
Oh, well, we actually have really great in-kind sponsors that are helpful for this. Also, we spent our money the first year or so, and we also get grants from Travel and Tourism. So every bit of our sponsorship money goes directly towards the scholarships, and not anything, the T-shirts, the medals, all of that is covered by the grants that we get, not sponsorships.
Okay.
So it will cost us about $10,000 to $15,000 to put on the event every year. But the obstacles are like Smithson builds one of our obstacles for us every year. And we have several others who do that for our bigger obstacles. We are not contractors, so we do not do that. So we have a company do that, but they do that all on their time. And it's an in-kind sponsorship for us, which is so helpful because we can give that money back to the students.
Oh, no, it's all about raising money for the kids.
Yes, it is.
And back to that number again, $400,000 over the same period of time to local students who are staying in the area, primarily going to Nash and Edgecombe Community Colleges,
and Wesleyan,
but also Wesleyan University.
Yes.
University now, right?
That's right.
That's pretty exciting. So And so then we're going to continue this program, but we're not talking about volunteers it takes to run it through the year. You got to order the t-shirts. You got to update the website. You've got to push out mailers. You've got to do all these things.
Social media.
And that's no small task. So what do you need to do that comfortably?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have
and I know you've been carrying most of that burden. So
we have a good team of people.
You do.
I will say that. We've got a great team of volunteers and leaders, but we could use more. So we have a race committee that's about 5 people. We have a marketing committee. We have a fundraising committee. That's the big one that works all year long. And then we have the Friday night fun committee.
Right.
And so those 4 committees are really working all year round. Plus around the February timeframe, we kick off our volunteer committee, and Tiffany Delano runs that for us, and she handles getting all of our volunteers coordinated on the Friday and Saturday of the event. And so she really starts up looking for those volunteers in February, so they can go out and volunteer right now if they want to.
Well, I mean, it's got to be hard to manage too, because my expectation is that most volunteer organizations, volunteers they're not paid staff, right? So
that's right.
So there's a lot of shifting up and down. I think I've got it set. Then somebody has something happen, they can't be there. So God bless Tiffany for even trying to take that on.
Absolutely.
So how does somebody plug in? If I want to help, either contribute to volunteer, how do I plug into Tackle the Tar?
You can email me or call me, but I'll give you the main email address.
Sure.
It's event@tacklethetar.com.
Okay.
Event@tacklethetar.com, and that'll come straight to me, and I can get you plugged in anywhere. And if it's race day or event day, we're happy to have you. But if you're interested in taking a leadership position or serving on a committee, we would absolutely love to have you.
Right. Okay, great. So what am I missing? What do we need to share with folks that I have not failed to ask you?
Oh man. I just want to remind people that it is truly a fun event. A lot of people get scared because it's an obstacle course race. And just as a reminder, I couldn't run from here to the front of this building without giving out of breath. And we just go out there and have a good time. It's really an experience, and it's really fun to do with your families. We have a lot of families who come out together and do this, and it's hilarious to see them come because they'll make the dad wear a tutu and they'll get dressed up, and it becomes this huge thing that they do all day long. A lot of times they'll leave there and go to the mills and have a beer and hang out on the lawn. It just becomes a really fun event. And so Friday night is all about family fun and fitness. And again, it's free. And you can pick up your packets then as well, your t-shirt, your registration, all that good stuff. But then the Saturday is where the kids get to run and the adults get to run. And it's fun watching everyone get to do it. And the volunteers, I like to just point out, it is not hard work to be a volunteer. A lot of the times we just have volunteers sitting at an obstacle, making sure no one gets hurt.
Right.
And so knock on wood.
Can you dial 911, right?
Yeah, we have a walkie-talkie to EMS
Right.
who's sitting there waiting in the stadium for us. But we have a lot of people, volunteers who say that, I can't physically do a lot. And we say, no worries. We'll put you a lawn chair right here and you just watch this. And if anything happens, you can radio back to EMS. But thank goodness we have not had a lot of incidents and definitely no major incidents. But we love Battle Park and we love working with the city on this. I did just want to thank you for that.
Sure.
We have partnered with y'all since the very beginning, and it's all started and ends at the stadium, at the football stadium. And we run under Highway 64, which is super fun, and then run the rest of the race in Battle Park. And so every runner has loved that experience. The first year we did not do that. It was all done at the stadium, but we actually ran the sports complex side, which there's not a lot of trees over there.
There's
so our runners
up.
got hot.
Yes.
So we figured out a way to get them over to Battle Park where it's totally shady and they get to see very different scenery, and it's hilly and rocky, and it's just a great spot for our runners. So thank y'all for partnering with us.
Sure.
Again, y'all have been great.
Well, what's the course? You go all the way to Stith Park and back, or do you you stay in the Battle Park
We
area?
stay right in the Battle Park. So we start on the football field.
Right.
And
under 64 on Falls Road.
We run out and get muddy first.
Okay.
So that's the first thing we get to do. And then there's a pond at the front of the stadium. If you've seen that, we go right through that pond.
I know exactly where it is.
And then we run under 64 and then into Battle Park. And then we run the rest of the race through Battle Park, back under 64, and then in back at the football field.
Well, I think it's going to be exciting this year. We've done a lot of improvements to Battle Park. I don't know if you've been out there and really looked at it, but I think it's going to be a tremendous improvement to the event.
Yes, I've double checked with Joel a
Yeah.
few times now. I'm like, we're good to run over there, right? Because I know you've improved it so much, we can still run. And he's like,
Right.
absolutely, we love working with Tackle the Tar. So
Well, and clearing out the trees and all that, I think it's going to create a little better scenery too. So
it's
anyway, I'm
beautiful.
excited about it.
And the paths that y'all have,
Absolutely,
the
that-
natural paths too.
Yeah.
We try to keep them off the sidewalks, but we run them through the dirt bike path is what I call them.
Well, that's right.
Yes.
So we've talked everything about it, but the date.
Yes.
When is the date? I mean, I think that's probably an important thing to communicate.
It's May the 19th and 20th.
All right.
And so I cannot believe we're almost a month away, but May 19th and 20th is the dates this year.
Kristen, I want to thank you so much for coming. It's been an absolute joy to talk to you today, and thank you for your insights and what you're doing in our community. Thank you for Tackle the Tar, creating that for us, or at least having that bold, audacious idea to try.
Yes.
To try. And you know what? I think this is a testament and a story of how just dream big and just do it. You eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Go big or go home.
That's right. Well, but look, I mean, so as a result, it's created quite an event that a lot of people are having a lot of fun with. And it's raising a lot of money, doing a lot of good for our students and for folks in the area, for scholarships, and the economic impact that it's having in our area is more than beneficial. It's a real impact for us, and so we need more events like that, more visionaries. So thank you for being a leader in our community.
Happy to do it, and thank you again for having me on today.
You bet.